Are we on? Here we are. Hey, welcome to the Dukes of Sports. I'm Randy Lively with
Andrew Eaton.
Sans Coca-Cola product this week.
Actually, they're in the fridge.
Yeah, that's good.
Rob
Well, they'll be real chilled for next week.
Rob can bring them out to us if you'd like.
So, hey, you know what I bought?
What did you buy?
I bought a pass at the Sandwich Car Wash. You know, they have another thing that I didn't even know about. You know, they have the 1 and 3 month deals where you can wash your car as much as you want.
Yeah.
Well, they also have a thing where you can buy a pass that's good forever.
Huh.
So I bought like 6 washes,
Yeah.
and I can, you know, if I don't finish using them till next year, that's okay. And you get like the one I got. Well, I got the cheapest one.
Yeah.
You pay for 5, you get 6, and it's good forever.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, neat deal. So, hey, Rob.
No Coca-Cola in the refrigerator.
It's in the freezer part of it.
Oh.
Oh, frozen Coke.
Well,
All
it
right.
was
Coke on a
room
stick.
temperature, so it just had to stick it and get it cool real
All right.
fast.
Then you have to deep fry it.
Yeah.
There are places that do that. Did you know that? They deep fry Coke.
Deep fried Coke. I don't know how you would do that.
They just pour, I saw it on TV, they just pour the Coke in a deep fryer.
Okay.
And
Chilled to perfection.
Thank you. And it's, I mean, I like Coke, but I have no desire to try deep fried Coke, but there's
Yeah, I don't
apparently
know.
people that do.
It's interesting.
You get like a little piece of deep fried soda. I mean you get several, I guess, but I mean, why somebody would have, they must have been drunk when they thought of that.
Probably. I mean, I've heard of deep fried Twinkies.
Oh, yeah, well.
Snickers bars, even.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's one restaurant I saw on one of those, like, Travel Channel shows.
Uh-huh.
Everything is deep fried. Like, you
Is
want...
it one of those carts like that go around? In the
No, it's a restaurant, but you want pizza, bang, they deep fry it. I mean...
Do they like deep fry a frozen pizza or?
No, this is a slice, you know, deep fry it.
Wow, that sounds like something that would be
Oh,
at a
yeah.
sporting event. I mean, like enjoying a nice football
Yeah,
game, and I want a deep fried pizza.
Talk about jacking up the cholesterol, huh? God.
Oh, jeez.
So, where do you want to start?
Where do we want to start? Well, I guess there's two big things,
Are they?
two big sports
Are they?
that are in the news right now.
Really?
It's
Okay.
basketball and baseball. Yeah, there's not much going. Well, actually, three, because the really big news. We'll start with that. Is the BCS will be no more shortly. They have agreed to the playoff. Now we've been posting things on the Facebook here and there about how it should happen. They're talking about it. They're voting on it. They have voted.
Well,
and they're doing
no
a
excuse.
4-game playoff. A 14 playoff. Sorry, and. Yeah,
That's good.
I've yet to hear anything negative about it. I mean,
No.
there's a couple people that are like, "Oh, well, you know, it should be the
I mean,
division."
the format
winners."
was already in place.
Oh, God.
Without, you know, they got ball games for, you know, one for every other team in the country, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
So they can just use the existing ball games for this finals playoff. Great idea, but you know, talk about
I guess they're just
long
trying
overdue.
to test the water. They're just dipping their toe in doing a four team thing.
Well,
Honestly,
you don't want too many either.
No, but if they're doing a top 25, and I'm not saying they should do 25 and maybe 16.
Used to be a top 20 until a few years ago.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
So
Keep it the top 25 that anyone cares about, and do the top 16 playoff. You know, I was listening to sports radio over the weekend and stuff, and there was one guy on there that's talking in favor of it, but he's going, yeah, in 10, 12 years down the line, they might expand it to 8 teams. Well, 10, 12 years? Like, this should be like a 2 or 3 year test with the 4-team playoff.
Yeah.
And then they should just jump right up to
yeah, well, you know, you
12
could
or
do it
something.
because you've got, like I said, a plethora of ball games
Yeah.
that, you know, and a bunch of them have crap teams in them. They're
Right.
500 teams.
Yeah, who cares
So you
about
could use some of those smaller ones.
as the early,
Yeah,
as the Sweet 16.
yeah. I mean, just like basketball
Yeah.
does. You know, they don't have the. You know, they have one site for the Final Four, but you know, other playoffs are in various places around the country.
Mhm.
So you know, do ball games around the country. What the hell?
Yeah, that's how I've been saying ever since I learned what the BCS meant. I remember when I first started really
It was
tuning in.
better off them never sticking their nose into it in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
Things were kind of working.
Yeah, well, I finally just kind of tuned into college sports and college football, really. And I'm going, what is this? What is a poll? Who's polling on these teams? And what's a BCS? And, then I realized that really they just stuck the C in there so that they could try and hide.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and then they got the Big Brother computer, too.
Right.
It was just part of the BCS
BS
calculations
yes,
or whatever.
So, I mean, that's been the talk of sports radio for the last week, basically. But, it's about time as far
Shows
as
you how
I'm
much I've
concerned.
been listening to sports radio lately.
Well, this is my fancy, serious, satellite radio.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Well, what can I say?
Now, how come you have that
in my car
when you don't get ESPN or whatever?
I get ESPN radio on my satellite radio.
It's Nesson you don't get.
I don't get Nesson.
Yeah.
I don't get ESPN either, except on the radio.
So you have it in your car? You pay for this, or did it come?
It was a Christmas present.
Oh. Okay. So you spend a lot of time in the car?
Yeah, well, I drive half hour
when it's in the
each
driveway?
way, and sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's a game on I want to listen to, I'll just sit in my spot and just listen to it. Take the long way home and.
Oh, I thought
No
you were
kids.
going to drive.
What's that?
No kids
Well, I have
in
a
the
kid.
car.
Oh. Actually, sports radio puts him right to sleep. He's only 18 months, so he doesn't. It's great, it's midnight and the playoffs were still going on and whatever, and I just stuck him in the car, went for a drive when he wasn't sleeping. But
Yeah, your wife wakes up. Where's the baby?
she doesn't care that I'm missing. But
No. She figures she probably assumes,
it's a pretty
rightly
safe
or wrongly,
bet
that you can take care of yourself.
Yeah. Well, it's usually a safe bet that if I'm not there at midnight and she wakes up and the baby's not there, that I took the baby somewhere.
One of you is driving around.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, we'll probably talk a lot about baseball, I assume, because it's actually the season going on. So let's touch on basketball a little bit.
Draft's coming up. That what you're
Draft's
talking about?
tomorrow. Well, that's honestly everything that I've heard. They're like, yeah, well, the number one pick is already decided. After that, it's kind of like, meh.
Yeah, I mean, what's his name from Kentucky? Davis?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's already been on TV shows. He was on Letterman, I think, or somebody. He was on Fallon.
Anthony Davis, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
Yeah, they call him No Brow or something because his eyebrows kind of run together.
Yeah, unibrow.
Well,
He's got a
unibrow.
unibrow?
Yeah, No Brow. Yeah, unibrow.
I was gonna say, does he shave his eyebrows?
So do we know who's got the number one pick?
It's
Yes, it was stolen. The New Orleans.
Yeah, New
Hornets.
Orleans.
New Orleans got it?
Oh,
Because
of
they're
course,
owned by the
his
NBA.
owner, owned by the NBA.
Oh, isn't that
Isn't
interesting?
that convenient? That's why people were calling conspiracy. Oh, it was all planned and blah blah blah. But yeah,
So no moves have been made. The Celtics still got their 2 number one picks.
2 first-round picks.
Yep, 2 first round.
Yeah,
Like
2 first.
21 and 23 or something like that.
Didn't they just get an 18th round?
No, they got Charlotte's second round pick, which could be the first pick in the second round next year for Jeff Green, because Jeff Green didn't play at all this year.
Yeah,
because of
well,
the
he had the
trade.
heart situation.
Yeah, but that's next year's draft.
Huh. So they now I'm surprised they let him go just like that.
No, he's a free agent, but because
Oh.
the trade wasn't equal or fair value because he had the heart condition, the Celtics cried to the league, and the league gave him the second round.
Okay.
OKC's second round pick next year.
Boy, it's funny. The league didn't do anything for him when.
Len Bias or
Yeah.
Reggie Lewis.
Yeah.
Yep.
Huh.
Or
They
when,
hated Red Auerbach.
LeBron was doing everything he was doing in Game 2. That's right. They
You
wanted
mean MVP?
They wanted LeBron to win the championship. So maybe
Of
he'll
course
shut
they
up
did.
now. One ring to rule them all.
God. Oh.
Whatever. He won.
Yeah. So
Should've been the
the
Celtics,
rumor
but
is
it's all-
Doc wants Allen back. I don't
And
know
Garnett.
why.
Yep.
And Garnett.
Well, fine with Garnett, but But
Miami
Miami,
is interested in him.
but they can only give him $3 million. I don't know if he'll play for that kind of pittance.
Yeah, the Heat don't have the money.
Yeah, isn't that something? Isn't that something? We can only give you $3 million a year, and
It's 'cause of the cap, though.
Geez, I don't think so.
They spent their entire cap on 3 players.
Yeah, and
That's
they
what
won
it
a
is.
championship, but
Well,
nevertheless,
what's going to happen when Chalmers is going up there and going, wait a second, why aren't I getting paid? And
yeah, they'll say, "Well, you go talk to these guys."
is there Williams? Is there a Williams on the team?
No, not anymore. Haslam.
No, who's the other one that was doing something in the playoffs?
Battier?
Battier.
Battier, yeah. Well,
Yeah, when's
Battier
Battier
was good
going to
last
step
year.
up
They
and go,
sucked.
wait a second, I want my due too? They're going to end up leaving. And I'm sorry, but without these supporting players, those big 3, they're not going to win anything by themselves.
But what
Well-
people are saying is they'll go to the Heat for less so they can get a
So they
championship.
can get another championship?
Well, that's what they're saying. One
Yeah,
of 7,
okay.
you can get 7 to pick from.
But those 2 guys aren't going to get endorsement deals. I mean, LeBron took a little bit of a pay cut because he got like millions upon millions of dollars for endorsement deals, and that's why he was okay doing it. Because Nike and probably Adidas, for somehow, and Coke
About Reebok.
and Reebok. Yeah, he probably gets all
New
of them.
Balance?
Asics.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's doing Olympia commercials down there. He's. They all said, "Come to Miami. If you go to Miami, we're going to endorse you." And he said, "Okay." You know what? I mean, why wouldn't he? Why,
Yeah.
Okay, you shave off $5 million from my contract, but I'm making $15 million off endorsements before I even get there.
Yeah.
And he was signing that. I mean, he's making, and I don't actually know, but probably somewhere in the vicinity of what, $12 million a year is probably what
That
he's
all?
taking in, at least. And I'd say Miami's only paying him maybe 5 of that a year. I mean,
No.
No, I think it's more than that.
He's
it's
gotta
more
be
than
making-
that. I know he's
Kevin Garnett
making
made
more in
$13 million this
endorsements
year.
every year than he is from Miami.
Ray Allen made $11 million this year, I believe.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I think he's making 15
So he's got to be
at
making
least.
15, 16. So he's got to be making probably $50 million a year then. He's got to be making close to that if that's the
Why,
case.
why? Do you think he's worried about it?
No, I don't think he's worried about it. That's what I'm saying. But what
Hey,
I'm
I
saying
need another million.
is he can stay in Miami for less because he's getting endorsement deals. Dwayne
Yep,
Wade can do the same
yep.
thing. Chris Bosh can do the same thing. Battier and Chalmers can't do that. They're not going to get endorsement
Yeah.
deals.
Yeah, but they're not playing. I bet you they're not playing for chump change either, though.
No, they're not. Both of those guys are not either. But they all took less money to stay.
But Ray Allen, I mean, still, nobody's going to be paying him close to what he made last year.
No,
No, but he knows that
but he's
too.
trying to get a 2 or 3 year deal for $5 million a year.
Well, see,
Yeah, good for him.
The Knicks are in the deal too, in the running too.
Now, if the Celtics give him that kind of a deal, Danny Ainge should have his head examined.
I disagree. I think I'd give it to him in a heartbeat.
A multi-year deal?
3.
I would.
Well, that's
I would
a
stop at
multi-year.
2. I would stop at 2.
No, I think they can. I don't think he'll make
Even if they
a
do
difference
bring him
either
back,
way
though.
on that team.
But if they bring him back, it's going to be in a limited role. He's going to be playing off the bench. He's not going to be
He's going to be a bench
because
player.
Bradley's there.
What better bench player can you find? Who's better?
Agreed.
Right, but
But
I don't
I
know
mean-
that I want to
but-
commit multiple years for even $5 million for that kind of a role.
Well,
Yeah, I understand.
I know you're a big stats guy, Randy, and
Not
I,
really. I just want-
appreciate that.
I just-
well, you want numbers, okay? Maybe not stats necessarily, but you want numbers. But
I-
there's more to sports than just
I want wins.
yeah.
He didn't bring you wins?
He
I don't know that he really did that much. Not to justify paying him that kind of money.
$5 million. That is chump change.
It's
as far as
unfortunately.
basketball is concerned.
But I think, why not groom a young player for the
Like
hell of
Bradley.
it?
Well, no, because you're not going to
You
get the
got Pierce.
leadership that he has, and he does.
Yeah, you don't need it. You got Garnett.
Yeah, Garnett,
So,
and you've
let-
got
let me
Pierce.
ask you a
I
question.
understand that, but
And
if they're
Rondo.
on the court, who's going to be pumping up the guys on the bench?
Well, one of the 7 coaches they've got down there should be
That's
his
not their job. Their job is to make plays.
So if you're looking at next year,
Yeah.
who is going to challenge the Celtics or the Heat for the Eastern Conference?
The Bulls.
Bulls.
Jalen Rose is not coming. I mean, what his name is not coming
Derrick
back till
Rose?
January.
So
Derrick Rose?
probably, yeah.
Derrick Rose is not coming back till January.
It may not matter.
What about Noah?
The Bulls did okay during the regular season without Rose.
A lot of people think there's a vacuum, that the Celtics have another chance immediately to go right back to where the Heat Celtics series last year.
Yeah.
And if Ray Allen was healthy, and if Avery Bradley was healthy, I think it would have been a different story.
If Bradley had been healthy, it would have been series over.
I
And it
would've-
would have been series over in 5.
I would rather see Bradley get the minutes than Allen. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
No,
that's
he's
what they were
going
going
to.
to
He's
do.
going to be the starting.
And have Ray Allen come from off the bench.
But that's the reason why Allen's not going to stay in
But
Boston.
you still
though.
need young guys. You know,
I-
Pierce, Garnett. You remember what happened when Bird, McHale, and Parrish left? That was a sorry team for a lot of years.
Are you saying
They
they
didn't-
can't be
they
building a
didn't-
team with these players playing?
Well, they sure
Well,
as hell didn't before.
If they've got
But-
2 first-round picks,
Yeah.
And they have
two-
Rondo and Bradley.
2 high first-round picks.
Yeah, and then you've got
That
Rondo
might-
and Bradley.
That might get you a bench player.
Okay, and how about Rondo and Bradley? They're both very young,
Yeah.
and
Two-
they're
All
ready.
right.
They're starting.
The
you know?
two
All right.
kids that they
But take the other guys out of the mix.
Take all the big 3, the original big 3 out.
Pierce, Garnett,
Garnett and Allen.
and Allen.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, even
Allen's
if you-
out. Forget Allen. The new Boston big 3 is Pierce, Garnett, and Rondo.
Okay.
You can't even factor.
All right, so Pierce and Garnett,
Yeah.
say in 2 years they're gone.
Yeah, and that's being nice.
So-
Next year they're probably gone.
So who you got?
You got
Well, the two
Rondo
guys that they
and
had last
Bradley.
year,
Yeah,
Juwan
but
then-
who's taking Pierce
So if
and
you're- if
Garnett's
you've got-
place? They don't even have a center.
Well, they're looking for a center. They were talking. Rob, you know who they were
Yeah,
talking
it's the
to.
third stringer from Chicago. He's 7'1".
Yeah.
He sits on the bench because they have Noah and Gibson. So he's a free agent. Chicago's not going to give him any money.
Yeah, but what can he do?
They say he's pretty good.
7'1".
Yeah, okay.
What did Shaq do? He was 7'3". I mean,
He's pretty good. They say he's really pretty good.
Yeah?
Yep.
No,
I think
okay.
this guy can actually shoot.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah, unlike Shaq, you know, who's
Hey,
really only good
the
for
two
dunking.
picks last year, the Celtics, the guys that sat on the bench, Juwan Johnson and the other guy, I forget his name, is a guard and a forward. They expect them to play next year. They both
Mm-hmm.
did pretty well in limited roles this year. They expect them to play next year. My thing is, I think
Good.
they're
So
going to
let
Bass
the guard
go.
play. Don't bother signing Allen.
Well, I see what Randy's saying, and as much as I'd like to keep Allen, I do think his time in Boston is over. I think it would be silly to bring him back for any large amount of money. 2 years, $5 million a year. Honestly, I'd be okay with that. I'd probably want him for $3 or $4 million a year, but what's another $1 million in the NBA? You know, so
He's not going to
But-
make the difference for
but-
that team winning
no,
a
and I
championship or not.
agree, and that's why I'm saying I think his tenure is over in Boston, and I don't think someone of that caliber is going to just sit on the bench. I mean, he's not.
I think he'll do
accepted
whatever's
it this
needed.
season, but I don't think he's going to accept it next season.
Well, he
The
had to
Knicks
because he
and
wasn't
Miami are going-
100%.
Right, the Knicks or Miami or whoever would get him, they're probably going to be starting him.
No, he's going to come off the bench. Would you rather see him in Miami?
No, I wouldn't rather see him in
Ugh.
Miami.
I wouldn't like that.
I wouldn't rather
Mike
see him
Miller
in
stunk
the
all
Knicks
year.
either,
but
because-
if you have Ray Allen sitting out there in the three-point line, the Celtics are going to be in trouble.
Yeah. And I think he could really make a difference on the Knicks. I don't think he'll make much of a difference on Miami.
I think
but,
the Knicks need more than that.
Well, they
Yeah,
need more
they
than
do.
that. But if everyone stays healthy and they add Allen to the mix, I think they could be a pretty good contender. I don't think they'd make even the Eastern Conference Finals. But, they won, 2 games against Miami, didn't they, this year?
Who?
The Knicks in the playoffs?
No one.
Only one? Okay. Well,
Going back to the playoffs, just very briefly,
you want to get me angry again?
No.
don't you? All right.
I was surprised at how ineffective Kendrick Perkins was.
In the finals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
He was
like-
pretty good going up, too.
He disappeared.
Everyone disappeared in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
Well,
What
but
did
there's no
Durant
center
do?
play.
I don't know. I was anybody.
All they did was pull him out. You see, when they bring their when Miami brings their center out to the three-point line, Kendrick Perkins has to go out with them, and then LeBron James and Dwayne Wade drive to the basket. That's the trick. The only one that's able to get back there in all the basketballs is Kevin Garnett. to cover the basket and cover his man. Kendrick Perkins can't do that.
Except
He doesn't have the
Perkins
agility.
shouldn't be covering Wade or LeBron, except as backup.
No, he covers the paint when they get by their own guy.
Yeah, but if Miami's pulling your center out to drop Perkins out,
Yeah.
easy thing is leave the center alone.
Yeah, what's he going to do? Shoot a three?
Yeah.
Well, that's the way, you have to cover your man.
Well, the center is Bosch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that
They
is
pull him
scary
out.
because he can shoot threes.
Yeah, I suppose.
Really, it was the inability of Westbrook to be efficient.
Yes.
And Harden did nothing. Harden was the sixth man of
Yeah.
the year in the league and did average like 2 points a game.
And what did Durant do though? I mean, compared to his
well,
regular
not
season, and
much.
even
Not as
in the
much as you had
playoffs,
hoped.
You know, he defended LeBron well, more often than not, but that left Wade and Bosch wide open
Yeah.
because
And the biggest
no
thing
one
I
was
would say
covering those guys.
is, I hate saying this, but Spoelstra outcoached.
Spoelstra didn't coach.
He outcoached
He
that
didn't.
guy. Yeah, I hate to
Rob.
say it.
No, Rob, you
I'm
can't
not
even
a
say
Spoelstra
that.
fan, but he did.
No,
What did he do? He didn't coach anything. It was simple basketball. They just went old school. They just said, all right, everyone
Yeah.
cover a guy.
Yep.
If you got one guy covering you, drive by him.
Yeah. But he was able to put people in positions like pulling the, what's his name, the other shot blocker that OKC has, and Perkins out of the paint and left it free and wide open for LeBron and Wade to drive.
And you really think that was Spoelstra, not like Wade
Well,
or LeBron?
I don't
It's
know.
probably LeBron's idea.
Probably.
Or maybe.
He's like a coach on the.
He kind of is.
Yeah.
He sure tells the referees what to do.
Yeah, he absolutely does.
Yeah,
He's ref and coach.
You could
He's
probably
everything.
mic him and he could announce the game too, you know?
All he has to do is fall. That's a foul. There was nobody near you, but it was a foul. All right, foul. Now, that's a nice
Well, I
segue.
wasn't implying that Perkins was the reason they didn't win a championship. I was just surprised.
No, he wasn't the
And
other reason
he
at
just-
all. You're right. No, you're
He was a
right.
non-factor.
Yeah.
Because, see, I thought if the Celtics still had Perkins, they might have had a better chance.
Well, they would. It's because of Garnett. Garnett and Perkins.
Yeah, but you know, at some point, Garnett's, unless they can limit his minutes,
Yeah.
you know, his age is going to catch up with him.
Well, he had a spectacular.
And he's
is
not going to
half,
be
though.
able to
He
Phenomenal in the playoffs.
to do what he did defensively in the past.
Because he's Stretch Armstrong, he can guard the guy at the perimeter and get all the way back to the rim. He's the most amazing defensive player I've ever seen, except for Bill Russell. He just can go from end to end,
Oh.
and he just protects everybody.
Yeah, pretty. Well, that's what I'm thinking, though. If you know, let's think next year they're going to be playing more games
Yep.
than they did this year.
Yep.
And I really think they need to be able to get him, you know, down into the maybe mid at the most upper 30s for minutes.
Yep.
So that at the end, not so much the end of the game, but the end of the season, he isn't worn out. And, you know, if he loses a step or even half a step with some of those other guys, that's enough.
Yeah,
You
but I
know.
think what they're going to do is it's going to be center by committee, and they already have two guys. They might probably going to keep Hollins. They're probably going to keep Steamsma, and they're going to get another guy.
Yeah.
And he's going to go to power forward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's
most of the time.
Probably where he should be.
Yeah, it is. But he did great at center because he can outplay any center because of his quickness. But,
Although I remember the guy that just totally blew my mind, and I think you'll know better than I do, Rob. It was Magic Johnson's rookie year that he was forced to play center in the playoffs.
yeah, and he hit the hook shot to win the
Yeah.
championship.
I mean, how many guys? I mean, granted,
Yeah.
was exceptionally tall for a guard.
He
But
played
how
against
many
Robert
guys
Parrish.
can go from guard to center? And he was a rookie.
Yeah, and he
in the
played against
playoffs,
Robert
I mean.
Parrish, too, a Hall of Famer.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Quite a talent. Almost as good as LeBron.
God, you and your LeBron hard on.
Yeah, no, I just do it to. See, you're like my daughter, you know. She's got certain buttons, and she hasn't yet always learned to not react when I push them.
Yeah.
So as long as she does, it's fun.
Ah. This is why you keep telling everyone that I love Eli Manning and.
Well, you do. I mean, everybody
yeah,
knows
I
that.
know. Everyone knows that.
You know, if
I'm
I
such
could
a massive Giants
get
fan,
it out
I just,
more on,
wow.
you know, if I could find another way of getting it on the internet, I would. But
Join Twitter.
no, you already got me into Facebook, and that's it.
I was making jokes about the refs, and
Jokes? You weren't joking.
Oh, half joking. I do think they're terrible, but my point just keeps getting proven, especially this baseball season. And I don't know if you or you, Rob, saw this last night in last night's game. Now, again, we're live right now on Wednesday the 27th, so this is Tuesday the 26th of June. The Yankees.
The Yankees game, yeah. Oh boy.
Yankees game. There was Dwayne Wise is his name.
Yeah, he's a left fielder. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I know.
For who?
The Yankees.
The Yankees?
For the Yankees.
Okay.
He dives into the stands, and the ball bounces off of his glove. And everyone in the stands doesn't rush the ball. They all step back and go like this. And he steps up, and he holds his glove up, completely empty.
Ha!
And the ump calls him out.
There's a guy in the picture who has the ball in his hand over his head. Like
oh,
a roll
really?
back, and he's showing everybody the ball, and the ref
No, the ump had already called him out before.
Well,
Because
the
they
ump
left
called-
that ball
and then
down
the ump
there.
threw out the manager for Cleveland.
No, he didn't.
He did
I
right
didn't
after
know
that
part
for
of it.
arguing. And the manager is
at the
pointing
end
at
of
the
the
guy
game-
in the crowd with the ball.
Yeah, at the end of the game, the ump goes, well, I guess I should have asked him to show me the ball like I normally do.
Not a bad idea.
I mean, come on! He took a dive
Well,
into the stands.
hey, yeah.
How can you possibly? I mean, like that would be like when Jeter made that amazing catch in the stands.
Yeah.
And he dove in there, and he goes and he comes up, and he has the ball, and then he takes it out with his hand and shows the ball.
In my opinion,
Well,
if
I
you-
give credit to Mr. Wise
Yes.
for
Who even said, he goes like, I figured the ump was going to ask for the ball, but when
Yeah.
he didn't, I just ran to the dugout.
Yeah.
I don't blame him, even though he's a Yankees player.
Although
I
he-
blame the ump for being a Yankees fan.
You talked about that son of a gun Jeter, though. Playoffs a number of years ago, I think it was against Oakland, and there was this, must have been a throw from the outfield
yeah, he caught it and flipped it to the catcher.
to the plate
Yeah.
that was way offline, and he came out of nowhere
Yeah.
to retrieve that and get an out at the plate. And I thought, that is what I think one of the greatest heads-up hustle plays. It's just a shame it was a Yankee that did it.
Yeah.
But unbelievable. I mean, how many other guys would even, not even attempt it, but even think to do that? No, I mean,
On the guy falling out of the stadium, I don't care whether it's a home run or whatever it is. If you fall out of the stadium, I don't care whether you catch the ball or not. It's a home run or a foul ball. You can't jump out of the stadium. You can't leap over the wall and catch the ball in right field.
not?
In right field in Fenway Park, why can't you just jump over the wall then and catch it in the bullpen and it's an out?
Because chances are you're not going to clear that
Well,
just by jumping.
I don't think if you go out of the stadium, it's out. I'm sorry. I don't care whether you catch it in your teeth.
But
if you go out of the
but
stadium, it's a home
no,
run.
Rob. That's not what they're doing. They're not like climbing the wall and like standing in the stands and going, I got it. No, they're running into these walls and falling into the stands.
And
or falling
that's
into the
you
bullpen.
lose. You have to stay in the field of play.
No.
right, no, because
No.
I've often thought that, and Fenway Park right field is a perfect example. The guy's going back, it's a high fly ball, deep to right. He's at the bullpen, which is maybe waste time for those guys. He's leaning back into the bullpen, catches the ball. Now, the ball is actually over the bullpen, but he catches it.
Yeah.
Then he falls into the bullpen.
Right.
So the ball has now gone out of the ballpark.
Did he drop it? If it's in the mitt, it's caught. Simple
But
as
it's
that.
a home run.
No, it's not a home run. So wait, so those ballparks that are, 6.5 feet walls, maybe 7 foot walls, where they're just above the guys' heads, and they jump up, and their hand, just their wrist, is over, and they catch it. The ball
they come
is
back
over.
into the
That
field
should
to
be a
play.
home run too.
No, they come back into the field to play.
Right, but if
No,
the guy
it's
at
the same thing.
but if the ball player ends up, I think what Rob is saying, if the ball player ends up out of the field to play, into the bullpen, it could be construed
It's a home run.
that,
I saw,
that
what's his
that's
name?
gone out of the ballpark.
I saw Ichiro once at Fenway Park. He stood on top of the right field wall, and he was tried to leap in, and he leaped into the bullpen, but he didn't get it because it was further away than that.
Yeah.
But he jumped up. He saw the ball coming. It was a big pop fly, and he jumped onto the right field wall and
Yeah.
waited there for the ball, and he leaped up to try and get it. And if he landed in the bullpen, that was going to be an out. That's just wrong.
Yeah,
But
well,
as long
you've
as
seen
he's,
that. In other,
no. As
other-
long as he starts in play and catches the ball and falls out of play, it should count. I mean, if you're trying to catch a foul ball, all right, just a standard foul ball in the field, and you drop it, but it hits you in some way, it becomes a fair ball because you messed with it.
no, not unless
no,
it
it
lands
doesn't.
fair.
Foul.
If it stays in foul territory, it's a foul ball. You
Runners
probably
can
get an error.
advance.
You'd get
Runners
an
can
error and it'd
advance.
still be a foul? That's not
If-
because if you're disrupting the play,
It's foul.
No.
what?
If
It's
the-
outside the line. It's foul.
You're saying a foul ball, so the ball's in foul territory.
Yeah.
You run over, you go, whoops, you dropped it.
Yeah.
But it falls in foul territory. It's a foul ball.
It's not a foul ball.
Sure
Yes, it is.
Not unless it fell into fair territory.
Okay, so no, okay. All right, so it's going up the line, all right, up the baseline then.
Okay.
And
Is it in the air or on the ground?
on the ground. Let's call it on the ground.
And it
all
goes
right?
right up that, well,
And
if
the
it's fair
first
going
baseman.
past the third.
I know,
by
as soon as
the
it
bag,
goes past the base, if it's foul, it's foul. If it's fair, it's fair. I know that. So let's say the first baseman is on the base, and he's going, and he pulls a Buckner, or not even a Buckner. He gets it up, but fumbles it. If it lands fair, it's fair. If it lands foul, it's foul.
No,
No.
because he was in fair territory when he fumbled it.
The ump has to call it fair or foul, and if it's fair or foul, if it lands on, even if he flubs it, it's a foul ball. Runners can advance because you have to take care of the ball, but the base runner goes back to the plate because it's a foul ball.
No, if it's a ground ball, Rob, the runners can't advance.
Yeah.
That's true. That's
If it's
true. I'm
called
sorry.
foul, it's foul, and they can't advance. Period.
Right,
No,
but if he fields it, a ground ball in fair territory,
And then it lands
and he
foul.
kicks it out of bounds, it's still a fair ball.
So what if he's in foul territory and kicks it
Well, then
fair?
it's a foul ball. Well, no, if it's a ground ball, no, it won't matter.
No, but if it's a pop fly down the right field, like say the right field line, like behind third base near
Yeah.
Canvas Alley, and
Yeah.
he drops it,
Mhm.
and there's a runner at third base, that runner can go home. Right?
No,
I don't think so.
I
he
think
he can tag up on a foul ball that's caught.
Yeah, but he can't go home
Yeah.
if they flub that.
No, not if it's foul. Just
Uh,
all it is a regular old strike at that point.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But here's another one. What would happen if, say, there was a pop-up down the line? Doesn't matter, first base or third, either one. And it's just foul. And the guy runs over to catch it, muffs it, and the ball falls in fair territory.
Right.
But the
I
umpire,
would think that becomes a fair ball.
well, the umpire still has to call it fair or foul.
It doesn't
That's
matter.
his
He can't
job.
call it fair or foul when it's in the air. He's got to wait for it to land.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, he still has to call it fair or foul.
Not in the air.
Well, yes, but he doesn't call it in the air. So what Randy's asking is if he's in foul territory
Yep.
to catch this foul ball,
Yeah.
it bounces off his glove and lands fair. It never landed foul.
Yeah,
that becomes
well,
a fair
it's
ball.
possible.
But then, on that same note, how many times, and it's happened at least a dozen in the history of baseball, where the outfielder is going and it's very clearly a fair ball, and then he screws it up and basically throws it over the wall,
Yeah.
and it's a home run. So
Oh,
why is
that's
that a home run? But when they reach over to try and catch it and bring it back into fair territory, that still should be a home run.
Because it never hit the ground.
Neither did
the old
other one.
Jose Canseco play.
Yeah. Well,
He's the only one that hit a home run off his head.
Yeah, one off his head. There's
Yeah.
been I've seen a few.
Oh, really? I've never seen
Yeah,
that.
I've seen a couple off the head. I've seen a few off the mitts.
no, there was a few. Remember years ago, might have been in the Mets' first or second year, they had an outfielder named Ron Swoboda.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he was famous for balls off the
Off
head.
his head.
I don't know that they went over the fence, though. This was just routine flying balls, which maybe makes it worse.
Yeah.
But,
Hey, just some news. The Red Sox are in the, eighth inning. They're up 10-2.
great.
They were up 6-1 after the first.
Yeah,
10-2.
first inning was great. I saw it.
Ortiz
before I
hit his
left.
399th career homer, and
Wow.
I think Gonzalez has got 3 or 4 RBIs.
Yeah, well, his first RBI was actually on an error, but it was bases loaded, so they had to give him one. It was, you're talking about a Buckner play. He hit a ground ball to the first baseman. Could have been a double play because Gonzalez ain't that fast. And instead of 6 runs in the first, it might have only been 3. But, Encarnacion is there to catch the ball, and, he's got his glove up.
There's no ball.
No, went right under. He didn't. He just didn't get low enough for it.
Yeah.
It bounced. It was, and he thought it was going to bounce here.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it
Yeah,
didn't.
I've seen it. Julio Lugo did that a lot.
Well, Julio did a lot of
Is he
things.
still
a
in
lot.
baseball? Is Lugo still in baseball?
I don't
no
think
idea.
so. God, I hope not.
I think he is still playing. But
Really?
I don't think he's in the majors.
Maybe
I
he's in
think
the Mexican League or something.
Oh, that could be Dominican League
But-
or whatever.
no, they
the
got
Brockton Rocks.
They got 6 runs on 4 hits in the first inning. No home runs, 1 extra base hit.
Yeah,
Uh,
bunch of errors, huh?
2 walks, 1 error. 6 runs. This was against a guy. It was 8-1.
Oh, wait a second. Now, on that note, because we were playing the fantasy baseball and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
And you see that like the final scores for the pitcher is not the same as their earned runs.
Really?
Well, yeah, because they can get unearned runs.
Well, yeah.
But what qualifies as an unearned run? I know errors do.
Yeah.
But do walks?
No.
It's just errors.
Yeah.
Well, then I've gotten very lucky because there have been a few of my pitchers that was like they gave up like 4 runs, but it was only like 1 earned. And I'm going, wow, in the hell?
No.
Like there weren't that many errors in the game, were there?
No. Just
It was, or is it like fielder's choice maybe if
No.
they get on that?
got to be errors.
It's just errors.
Yeah.
It's the only way.
Yeah.
All right. That's what I thought, but it just didn't seem right to me.
So you're playing. You got pitchers playing on teams with no defense.
Apparently.
And you're making out like a bandit.
Well, the perfect game didn't
Yeah.
hurt.
That's your perfect game right there. But was that on the air? No. Good.
No, he was on me. So
Yeah, he's always on you. I
don't know about
might as
that.
well be sitting in there with Rob.
I don't know.
But
I'm trying.
I thought Euclid was the way they handled his last game was great.
Well, Rob was there.
Yeah, I was
No
there.
kidding.
Yeah, it was. It was a great,
Wow.
great thing. But they had it all set up. When he hit that triple, before he even came out of the game, they started showing highlights from when he was a rookie up on the big
Yeah,
video.
but
board.
what would they have done if he didn't get on base?
I know, but they had it all set up. I mean, if
They
he
would've
got a
just done it at the
single,
end
they
of the
were going to
game.
do it.
Do you think that's why Atlanta's outfielders?
It kind of looked like it. It really did. I mean, they really
Yeah.
botched it bad.
But I thought it was fantastic. I mean, and to Uke's credit, so far, and I assume it'll continue, he has been about as complimentary to the Red Sox, to Middlebrooks, as you could possibly be. I mean,
Yeah.
talk about, leaving on taking the high road.
Well, I think he might say something. Bobby Valentine, I don't know if you saw it, but watch it if you want to go look at the video.
He was clapping.
When he came out of the dugout, when he asked Euclid to come out of the dugout, he was jumping up and down and yelling at him, "Get out of the dugout, get out of the dugout," to the wave to the fans. He looked like a buffoon. He really looked bad.
Oh.
Bobby V, he really did. And
Well, they
Euclid
wanted
wanted
him
nothing
back.
to do with him. But, it's the way it goes because Middlebrooks has to play. He just does.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's good for you too.
Me too.
he's going to get playing time that he wouldn't have got. So that's
Yeah.
got to make him happy. He'll be, a free agent at the end of the year.
Yeah, he's probably going to lose some money. But,
So, yeah, but, so he can go wherever, he gets the best offer.
Well, he hasn't been playing spectacular either, though.
No.
So, I mean, he
No,
probably
he
used some
hitting-
money there.
He was hitting 220 or something
No.
like that.
But the other night he played first and third for the White Sox, had a couple of hits. He really looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a new lease on life for him.
Yeah, but
Did you watch the video I posted on Facebook for you?
I saw it on the news. The
Of
kid
the
crying.
kid crying
Yeah.
because what's the infielder's name? That was
Lillibridge.
A utility guy hitting $190 or
Yeah,
something.
Lillibridge.
Yeah.
He's his favorite guy.
I was looking at it and I'm just going, I think these guys are really that great. They haven't
Well.
put up huge numbers.
No, well, the pitcher's one of these guys with the famous P, potential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He was the
he
number
went
one
right,
pick at Toronto.
He went right to Pawtucket.
Yeah.
Good. Hey, and maybe in a year or two they'll have something.
He's got a rocket arm. No
He's,
control.
what, in his
He's
middle
Daniel
control?
Bard, too.
mid-20s.
So he's
Yeah,
a
something like
bard.
that.
Is it?
No, he's essentially, supposedly, he hasn't started all of his games. But that's, I think, what they're planning or hoping.
And
that he can
Lillibridge has
develop
literally
into.
played every position except catcher.
And,
Played
yeah,
first, second, third,
You
short.
sure he
all-
hasn't played catcher?
catcher
No,
and pitcher.
no. Not on the White Sox. But.
Another Red Sox news. I mean, they actually designated for him for assignment and then released him shortly before this happened. But Marlon Byrd,
Yeah, I still can't understand. Darnell McDonald must have something on the Red
Well,
Sox ownership or something.
do you know what happened to Byrd?
No.
He tested positive for HGH.
Yeah.
No.
He's out for
Suspended
50 games.
Well, there's an argument that HGH really doesn't work, then, does it?
Oh, Marlon Byrd was doing all right for the.
I thought he
Oh,
was too.
yeah,
Wasn't
yeah.
he?
He was
He was
great.
batting like 260 something.
I thought he played really well for a couple
Yeah.
of weeks.
Nah.
You're
I thought he-
confusing him with McDonald
No, oh no.
or
No,
Sweeney.
there's two different sets of ineptitude there. Bird, I thought, was a poor center fielder. And
But
he
batting-wise,
and
he's
he
doing
had a
all
hard time hitting his weight.
For a backup, I mean,
Yeah, but he wasn't playing as a backup. That's the problem.
well, he
getting
was forced to start because of all the
Nah,
injuries. So
Jesus.
he,
No.
he wasn't going to be one of the. He
Oh,
wasn't
he-
the starting day outfielder.
Well, of course not. But all he did was delay other guys getting called up that were a hell of a lot better.
Like McDonald and Nava.
Not McDonald.
Kalish.
Not McDonald. McDonald was there from the get-go.
Yeah.
No, Kalish was
Cody
hurt.
Ross. And,
But, Kalish had a good at-bat
Yeah.
Tuesday night.
Couple. He's been playing pretty well.
Well, against a lefty, too.
So what are they going to do with Ellsbury coming back in a couple of weeks?
Is he coming back that soon?
Crawford should be back in a couple weeks.
He's starting to play games.
Well, I know one that can go right now, as far as I'm concerned.
McDonald.
Yeah.
And then also on the pitching staff there, who's the one you don't like?
McDonald's going to go to
Albers.
the pitch. Yeah, no, McDonald's going to go to the bullpen and take Alba's place.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because he pitched so
Yeah,
well.
he did well in that Baltimore game in the 17th inning. But, no, I mean, I don't know. They've got Cook back again. He had a spot start the other night. I can't say that I was super impressed, but he did get a win.
That was a
Andy
game
Miller's
last night. He
been
pitched
pitching
pretty well.
Pretty good lately, huh?
Most of the year he has. And so, Daisuke again. He had a great outing Tuesday night.
But he got the win that time.
No, he didn't get the win.
No, I don't think he lasted
He
long
pitched
enough.
sixth. They were still down 1-0.
Seriously?
Yeah, what's his name got the home run in the seventh.
Yeah. But, hey, I got no problem. He to me, right now, you'd have to lock him in as that fifth starter. He has done,
They said that it's going to be a six-man rotation for a while.
even though he hasn't got a win, he's done nothing to take him out of that rotation.
And
Yeah.
guess who's throwing again? Lackey.
Oh, boy.
Oh, good.
I thought you were going to say Bailey.
So we can get him just in time for him to be a free agent.
No.
He's got one more year.
No,
right?
yeah.
2.
Hey,
No, he doesn't. 2. It was
Is it?
before this season.
I thought it was 3.
Really?
It was 4 years total.
before we totally run out of time, there's two two words I gotta mention.
Oh God.
Jerry Sandusky.
Yes. Good riddance to bad rubbish.
I mean, I mean, I had to make a second entry on our Facebook page to get some of the vitriol, whatever, you know what I mean, out of my mind. I mean, that guy has got to, I mean, not only sports, but he's got to be one of the biggest dirtballs this country has ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, the sad part
They've
is
got-
he's probably not. He's just in the spotlight. Everyone knows who he
but
is.
they got, you know, well, what, put him on suicide watch?
Yeah, well, he says,
Oh.
I don't think I'm suicidal.
Hey, I'd be tossing rope into the cell, you know, here, what do you need, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
Leave very sharp knives nearby.
yeah, just line them up, you know, here, take your chair. You got the knife, oh, by the way, here's a loaded revolver. I mean, no, I mean, he'd be doing everybody a favor. I mean, I hate to say this about another human being, but
Yeah.
unfortunately to me, he's, any air he's breathing, he's just, it's
A long
waste.
time ago, he almost went to the NFL. He got offered an NFL head coaching job.
Yeah, but
And he
Yeah, but
turned it
how
down.
come he
And
couldn't
now we
get a
know why.
college job after he left Penn State?
Huh?
How come he couldn't get another college job after he left Penn
That's a
State?
good question. I don't know. Well,
Somebody
I guess I
has
know.
to know something. Well, a lot of people,
well,
I think,
a lot of
probably
people
did.
knew something. They just didn't know maybe everything, and they.
Well.
I think you said it, and I'll see if I can get your quote right. But they did the bare minimum, and that was it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, even at, what's his name, Malarkey or whatever. I mean, he reported it to, I guess, Paterno. But then he never took it any further.
Someone said they reported it to the actual administration.
Well, Paterno supposedly had reported it to maybe the AD.
Okay.
But, you know, it was like one little step, and everybody that it got reported to just, you know.
You know
And then,
who
like,
knew
with
about it was
Malarkey,
his
didn't have enough, you know, between his legs to go when he saw nothing was happening to push it, because he was probably scared to death of Paterno.
Yeah.
And he'd lose his job if he rocked the boat and all that. But then, you know, the other thing, I mean, this Sandusky clown and his idiot wife, I mean, she's as compliant as he is as far as I'm concerned, only, you know, she didn't do it. But she's married to the guy for, what, 46 years and doesn't have a clue, never heard anything. Come on. But how the hell did they get approval to adopt anybody? I mean, usually that's pretty tough scrutiny if you're doing it the right way, you know, not going through some, you know, black market adoption agency or something. But usually they
But
turn
you're at a prestigious university, and you have been
Yeah.
for years. You know.
yeah, but you know, but they
He
usually
didn't have a record. His record was spotless.
they usually turn you inside out. They visit the house. They do this. They talk.
He was never doing it at his house.
Yeah, sure was.
He was? I thought it was all
down,
at the school.
Oh, he had his little playroom down in the basement.
No.
Oh yeah.
I missed that part of
Oh,
the
yeah.
report. Oh, it was.
And, you know, and supposedly these kids are fussing and stuff, and the wife, she didn't hear nothing. 46 years, she didn't hear I don't know that he was doing it for 46 years straight, but, I mean, that guy is just, I mean, they like I said on in Facebook, I like to see them lock him up, leave his cell unlocked, and leave his buddies around him, leave their cells unlocked, and let them just dole out the justice to him.
Well, and they will. I mean, yeah.
Oh, no, they'll probably protect him. They'll probably keep
They-
him
they have
isolated.
to.
Why? What the hell does he deserve?
He doesn't deserve it, in my opinion, but that is what they have to do.
Well,
They
that's-
will lose their jobs if something happens on their watch. If they're watching. Now, they can turn their back and whatever else.
Well,
and
I
there
said,
will
forget
be.
to lock his door.
There
you know?
will be opportunity, I think. You know, that the priest that got arrested in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
This is many years
Yeah.
ago. When he went to prison, and he was in his little solitary, or at least whatever it's called, you know, because they separate, and they have to separate them. but they caught him in the shower, I think, and someone had a shank or whatever
Wow.
it was, and he was dead
Yeah.
within a month of being in prison.
Well, we can only hope.
So, they'll get him. I think. As you say, it's a terrible thing to say, but I do
No,
think
but
that
sometimes there's, I thank God, I guess not often. But somebody does something and you just gotta throw stuff out the window and said, it doesn't apply to you.
Yeah.
And there's a few others, and
See,
some of the
I kind of have, I feel like he should just sit in a 4x4 box and rot and think about it for
well, how about a metal
45
box
years
out in the sun?
and give him bread and water and
Oh.
just let him rot, just let him lose his mind. The thing is, I wouldn't give him anything to do. You know what I'm saying? Just sit there and think about what you've
Well, I think a
done.
metal box, that's good. Didn't they do that, the Japanese in the bridge on the River Kwai?
Yeah,
That was their little way of punishing.
that was their way.
I
Yeah.
don't think
Yeah.
it was a metal box, though. Was it?
Well, there was, all different movies. There's a whole-
Corrugated
yeah, it was.
metal and stuff.
Do you remember Papillon? Do you remember that movie?
Didn't see it.
Which
Steve
one?
McQueen? Oh,
No,
great.
no.
Dustin Hoffman, Steve McQueen,
I
great
don't think
movie.
I've ever seen a Steve McQueen movie.
But
Oh, great movie.
yeah, unfortunately, some of the other people that I would think that rule would apply to are certain leaders of certain countries, like that clown in what is it, the Sudan? There were people in Darfur getting slaughtered left and right.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy that's, the head honcho in Syria, I forget his name. I mean, there's a few.
There's definitely a few that.
But, most of them have
Human
all this
rights
money
should not
socked
apply to
away
them.
in these Swiss bank accounts. They go to some other country that gives them asylum and they live high off the hog for the rest of their lives.
Yep.
Didn't quite work that way for Hosni Mubarak. But, he wasn't exactly slaughtering everybody either. But, anyways.
That we know of.
We digress. We
yeah,
digress.
just a little.
Well, Sam, but you know what? Penn State. What's the
Well, they're
NCAA? What's the NCAA going to do to them? Now,
What
if
can
you
they do?
if you were recruiting and you bought a recruit a gosh darn cup of coffee, or you made an extra phone call to his house, well, there's sanctions for that. Now, for what this guy did in double NCAA parlance, what? No problem. We don't have any rules against that?
Well, they're talking about that with UConn because UConn has gotten caught, their basketball program has gotten caught doing a lot of
Well,
bad stuff.
Calhoun he's been on and off
And-
over the years.
And, they should be sanctioned for a lot of years.
Right, but those are, probably recruiting infractions, maybe messing with somebody's grades, I don't know. But hiding and protecting a child molester, that's not in the NCAA rules anywhere.
I
So,
guess
I mean,
it will
if-
be now.
They probably never
So if-
expected
if-
it to actually happen.
So if Penn State skates by with no sanctions, knowing that their beloved head coach probably knew all about this for a long time.
God, I hope not.
Oh, he had to.
I don't think so.
I
Oh,
don't think
had
he
to.
knew all about it. I think he knew. He heard.
Well,
things.
he chose basically to do nothing about
Yeah.
it when he was made aware of something, and that's sort of like the idiot wife, as far as I'm concerned. He becomes complicit at that point.
Yeah.
You got to remember that Joe Paterno was 85 years
I
old.
don't care. Well, then he shouldn't have been.
Yeah, but I don't think he was aware of what was going on. He was he was removed from a lot of the program. I'm not justifying
Well, that's his
it.
fault.
Yeah, well, yeah.
If
fine.
you're the boss, you're in charge,
Yeah.
and you're responsible for what happens under your watch.
Okay. Right,
But-
see?
But I mean, Penn State. I mean, if you're a high school athlete, are you going to be signing up to go to Penn State to play football right now?
If you're
not?
from Pennsylvania, yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't. He's not there anymore. There's
Well, that's only because
legacy.
but he died. If he hadn't, he'd still be there.
Oh, Paterno, you mean?
Yeah.
No, they fired him when this whole thing
Well, yeah,
happened.
yeah, but he was still. I mean, he was living, wherever he was living, and
Yeah.
they loved him on campus. They were still,
They still do.
they were still, rallying around his house, and we love you, Joe, and all this crap.
Yeah, but Sandusky's not there. He hasn't been for a while.
Right. Well, he hasn't been for a long time.
So,
But that's the other thing.
okay, wow.
So there goes that, Mike. He hadn't worked there for years, right? How come he still had an office there?
No, he had did this community service crap.
He did the charity with the little
That's
boys.
what he did.
But he had an office that he could use all the Penn State facilities still.
Yes.
They all do. What, are you kidding me? What? You guess you're not privy to different universities.
Well, no, but how
But
many?
he's gone now. But
But how
point-
many
your
have these
question-
sex offenders that they're letting have this stuff?
Well, they didn't know he was a sex
They
offender.
did.
Yeah.
They
I
chose
don't
to
know.
look the other way.
I'm sure they did.
And that they
And I
should be slapped around.
And I agree with you on that. But to answer your question, the question at hand is.
Did I have a question?
You did.
Oh,
You said,
all right.
what high school kid is going to want to go
Oh,
to
there
Penn
we
State?
go.
And a lot of them are because it's still a prestigious football program, despite all this.
Well, it shouldn't be.
Because those people are gone.
AD's still there.
They went
guy
in
that
a different
was reported
direction.
to,
Now they
he's
got
still
what's his
there.
name?
He's still there.
Patriots-
He
the
got
Patriots
charges.
offensive
He's got
coordinator.
charges against him.
They're going to
The
fire
president
him
or something's
if
got
they're at all
charges against him,
intelligent,
but they ain't lost their jobs.
Well,
Nah.
there's a lot of people you can blame for a lot of things. Then
Yeah.
you know,
No,
right?
I think that program should be. I mean, SMU got years and years and years ago. They got the NCAA death penalty for recruiting thing. I mean, Penn State should get some severe punishment from the NCAA, like no bowl games for several years. But you know, the thing is, in Pennsylvania, I mean, or the whole university, excuse me, that football program's their cash cow. They don't want nothing to go wrong with that. That's maybe another reason why everybody chose to look the other way.
But that's the reason, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Then what about the Catholic Church over the years? You could say the same thing, but
True.
Well, and
True.
there was that other.
Get rid of the Pope.
There was that other coach there that had a 16 or 17-year-old on his motorcycle and he crashed it.
yeah, he's the guy that he was the coach of the Atlanta Falcons, and he quit. Bobby Petrino. He's as bad can be,
Is it
and
Petrino?
everybody keeps giving him
Yeah.
chances.
Yeah.
And he sold. The university bought him a house for $20 million. So then they fired him, and he sold the house for $10 million.
Well, he's going to like some Tennessee college or something, isn't he?
No, it was
Arkansas.
Arkansas. No, but he used to be the coach. He was the coach of the Atlanta Falcons and quit. Don't you remember that? After Michael Vick went to prison, he was the coach and he just quit.
Right. That's right. I mean,
He's been
And he's
bad
still
for years. There's
got a
bad
job.
guys everywhere.
yeah.
Well,
there
there's
really is.
bad and then there's bad.
Yes.
Sandusky, I think, transcends pretty much everything else.
Yeah, but I mean,
He didn't do recruiting violations.
Petrino's still with this underage girl. You
Well-
know, there's no explanation so far. He wasn't saying I was having a tickling match on my motorcycle.
Well, was she under 18?
Yes,
Was she
I'm
under
pretty sure she
16?
was.
Well,
No, I think she was 16 or 17.
well. Well,
and I get that that's still
well, if this is down...
better.
Well, no, but if this is down south, that might be a normal course of behavior. I mean, you
Boy,
know,
we really have digressed
16,
here.
Some of them have already had a couple of kids with their
Oh,
first
God.
cousins, haven't they, by that? Really? So,
Where are we going?
but, I don't know. But, you know, you're right about the Catholic Church. You're just as bad. And I'm Catholic. And I can't say I'm a great one, but it sure upsets me and embarrasses me to think that the high levels of that church, not that you compare it to Penn State, but they just kind of condone it, look the other way, boys will be boys, you know.
But you
And it's terrible. It's terrible.
You really could compare it to Penn State.
Well, Penn
or-
State's a little smaller than the Catholic Church.
Not by as much as
Well-
you might think.
Well, in Pennsylvania, no.
but no, you know, but to that point, you're saying everyone involved with the football program should be you should have charges brought up against them.
No,
But this
everybody
is-
who was privy to it, you know. as
But
it
you're
was-
saying that they were.
I'm
You're
sure they
saying
were, because Paterno said he reported it to somebody else.
it may have stopped there. So that person, yes,
Oh, it
should
probably
have.
went. But, you know, it was like reported, and everybody, you know, okay, fine. Boom, same thing. Nobody followed up on it. No one
But it's the
followed
same
up on
thing with the
anything.
Catholic Church, in that sense, because it went from the
Yeah,
priests to
except
the
it's on a much
cardinals,
large-
to the whatever,
Yeah,
to the
exactly.
Pope.
Except
and
it's
supposedly
on a-
it did actually get to the Pope.
Probably did. But what I mean is the Catholic Church versus Penn State, much larger scale. I mean, you're
Yeah.
talking probably
But-
not only in this country.
But
mean,
I think there's less levels, is what I'm saying.
in football.
No, in the Catholic Church. It goes priest,
Hey,
cardinal,
we're running
Pope.
late,
No,
guys.
no, you got a bishop.
Oh, bishop,
thrown-
I'm
And
sorry.
you got an archbishop thrown in there. I think archbishop's below bishop.
MSNBC, we're running late here.
Oh, okay. well, we were still sort of talking.
Yeah,
sports.
Sandusky was in sports anyway.
Oh,
so.
God. Well, hey,
So we are taking a week off next week.
but
Go ahead.
won't there still be something for them to watch? No?
It's just gonna be dead air.
Cut it
No, we're going to re-air. I think the general consensus of our best show.
Yeah,
yet,
because we weren't involved with the whole thing.
with when we had the general manager of the Bourne Braves.
Chuck Sturdivant.
Say it again.
Chuck Sturdivant.
Sturdivant.
You can say that fast.
Yeah. Chuck Sturdivant. When we had him on here, what was it? Almost a month ago at
Yeah,
this point.
about that.
We're going to re-air that program for the week leading up. So
Yeah,
we
so if
will
you
be back
missed it,
here.
It's a great show, too.
Yes.
Guys, wonderful, lots of information. Well worth tuning in to catch it.
Absolutely. And if you don't catch it when it's airing, you know it's always on the video on demand sandwichtv.org. Any of our shows are. In fact, it usually is the same night. Sometimes if I'm bogged down, the next day.
So when will we be back?
we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Okay. So by then the Red Sox will be in second place or first place?
So the Red Sox will be in first place by that point
Okay.
in time because CC Sabathia is gone. So we got 2 games guaranteed that he won't be starting. So they'll lose those games. We just have to win them.
I know the son of a guns keep finding ways to win.
They really do.
Uh,
It's really, really
You know, and they've been out
frustrating.
without Brett Gardner, I think, the whole
Yeah,
year.
almost.
So that's like, you know.
And Joba Chamberlain.
Who?
Jabba Chamberlain. That's right.
Jabba the Hutt.
Jabba the Hutt.
Yes.
He's supposed to
Without
be coming
Mariano
back.
Rivera.
Gardner's supposed to be coming back. Rivera won't be back. Well, he's hoping to be back if they make the playoffs. They had another major injury, another pitcher, I think, didn't they?
Could be.
Hughes. Hughes is out.
Nah, he's back, I think.
Coke's gone. I can't remember. Anyway,
Robinson was out for a while.
yeah, I mean they've been able to still win these games, and it's been because of Jeter, and it really, really frustrates me because
He's the LeBron of the
Because-
Yankees.
because the Red Sox were this close to getting him when the Yankees were like, "Go ahead, shop around." They're like, "Well, can you imagine?" Anyway, we're gonna go way over now. Thank you for
too
tuning
late.
in. We'll see you in 2 weeks. For the Dukes of Sports, I'm Andrew Eaton.
I'm Randy Lively. Take care.